because the adults don't own anything. There's a saying, adults don't own. Okay, so there should be no apostrophe there. That's one. Shaylin, another one?
What about parties?
What is wrong with parties?
It's supposed to be an I.
You got it. Drop that Y and add I-E-S. That is correct. P-A-R-T-I-E-S.
I drop that eraser every day.
I know, I run into it. It's an issue. Trey, what's wrong with Halloween? You got it. It's missing an L. Okay, so Halloween is spelled incorrectly. And for those of you who noticed that the title was up here, it gave us the correct spelling. Okay, there's three. Chris.
Children.
Children. What's wrong with children?
It's not supposed to be capitalized. It's supposed to be lowercase.
Actually, that's a really good guess, right? Because you would think this is like one big sentence,
Yeah.
right? But let's read this. Halloween is a holiday that many people observe on the last day of October every year.
Every year with children.
What are we missing?
We're missing a period for the
Uh-huh.
year. Okay.
So Chris, if I add in the period, is children okay now?
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
And,
Thank you. So that's 1, 2, 3.
holiday.
What's wrong with holiday?
I have my hand up for that one.
Boom, yes, you're correct. It should be a lowercase b. That is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are halfway there. Matt.
Cider is misspelled.
It is. What's wrong with cider?
Should be an A. Should be an E.
Got it. Cider is spelled with an ER ending. Okay, and it's talking about like hot apple cider. Okay, if you're unfamiliar with what cider is.
Cider.
Yeah. Cider. Cider.
It's
Yeah, what?
cider.
No.
Okay, Judy.
Spooky is not supposed to have an E in it.
You got it. Spooky is spelled incorrectly. It is the second to last word. Spooky, there is no E. Christian.
Host.
Say that one more time, louder.
Host. It's host K.
Host. Yeah, what's wrong with it?
What is host K? E.
So it says some
Hosty.
people host parties. How do you spell host?
It says hosty.
It does say hosty.
Just do it.
Or host day. What do we need to get rid of? The E. You got it. Some people host parties, meaning they give parties, they have people over. Okay, there's no E on host. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're looking at 8. Anyone know the last two?
Something with the door to door. I'm not sure.
Okay, you're right. It is with the door to door. Should we have Matt tell us what it is?
Sure.
All right, Matt.
Supposed to be a like,
It's like a dash.
yeah, dash in between the door and
Hyphen.
Yeah, or hyphen. Yeah, exactly. So door to door. We have the dash or the hyphen right here, but we're missing it on the first part. That all goes together, door to door. Okay, so we need that hyphen in between door to and to door. Okay? We have one more. Does anyone know what it is? I have to figure out what it is. Oh. Anyone have a guess? Otherwise I'm going to tell you because I just didn't like the way that this was done. Right? It's actually spelled right, even though it looks kind of funny.
People have those.
You want to guess? In my opinion, this was a formatting issue when they created this. Okay, take a look at the word popcorn.
Popcorn, you know what, I actually got confused on that.
Wouldn't they have the colon with a dash on it too?
Oh, raise your hand. What's up with popcorn? What do we need? Chris?
It needs to be all together, right?
It needs to be all together. What were you going to say, Matt? One word. Okay? Now, the way that they wrote this, it's silly and it's hard to catch this error because they broke it up into 2 lines. But popcorn is just one word. Okay? So that is our 10th correction. So go ahead and just add that in. I didn't really expect you guys to get that one because that was...
So whoever just said the dash, could it be pop dash corn since they're continuing
Yeah.
the word to the next line?
That's what I was thinking.
I think
Yeah, that's
If
what
they're
I'm
gonna
looking at.
split it, so for that formatting way, they split it like this, it should have that dash. If they're
That's why
gonna,
I said that.
if they're gonna split it on 2 lines like this, they need to have the dash. But if the word was all on 1 line, it is just one full word, no dash. Does that make sense?
Kind of. Just the way they said it is what
So
I
would you
thought.
take
they were-
either one?
Yeah. What's up?
Would you take either one?
I would, in this situation, yes, I would. Absolutely. Okay? When you are finished, please put your name on it and put it in the middle of your table. Okay? Middle of the table, name on it. I hope everyone has 10 errors marked. Table to table, yes or no? The next thing that you need to have out in front of you is the ant and the grasshopper from Friday. Yes, I was not here, but we are going to go over it. And I'm going to be checking to see who did it, even though I was not here.
I started it, but I got stuck.
Okay. And for anyone who got stuck and is in that same situation, that's why we're gonna go over it.
Just for the record, nobody asked for help with their questions or anything.
Thanks for me.
Yeah, I think it is.
Right, good copy.
You have it?
I didn't know what you were
Just wish you could switch.
We're gonna go.
I actually can't. No, you gotta get
Hey, you got shirts. No, it's too late. I got really good to add. Nah, you gotta get some first.
You know, you can always ask.
All right, thank you, Tremaine. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Shaylin. Thanks, Trey. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, Jalen. Thank you, Christian, for having those out. Okay. I marked down. Brandon, are you ready?
Huh?
Are you ready?
No.
On Friday, I asked you to complete this independently to the best of your ability and then to turn it in. For those of you who turned it in, I marked you off. Okay, thank you for doing so. If you are someone who did it, but maybe you just didn't turn it in or you finished it over the weekend, I'm gonna come around and mark you off. Okay? So, have that out in front of you right now. If you were not here, I do have additional copies. Okay, but we're gonna go over this right now. I'm gonna tell you that some of the things we talk about today, you're going to see on this test. Okay, so you need to make sure that we're asking questions and that we're making some notes. I will be collecting these for a grade at the end of class today. Okay? Jude, do you have yours? Okay, it's the ant and the grasshopper. We need to have this out. We're gonna use the Oakley Brown. Not a big fan. It's gonna have to work. Okay. All right, we are going to go ahead and fill in this chart. But before we do so, is there anyone who would like to just give us a quick recap of what the story, The Ant and the Grasshopper, was all about? Trey?
It was like the ants were like gathering for the weather and stuff.
Yep.
The big cold.
Yeah, absolutely.
The grasshopper was like alone.
And why didn't he have food? You're not sure? Matt?
The ants always stock up before winter, but the grasshopper's like, well, we are living in the now, so why not eat it now and not save it?
Absolutely. I'm going to take Trey's answer and Matt's answer and I'm going to mesh them together. Is that cool? So Trey started off by saying that the ants, they were preparing for winter. Okay? Now, in order to prepare for winter, they need to collect food. Because what happens in the winter to all the food? It dies, right? It's cold and all of the plants and the trees die. So the ants, over the summer, they spent their time gathering food, collecting food, making sure that they were prepared. And then there's this grasshopper, and he's just sitting there and like playing his fiddle and like loving life and just playing around. Okay? He is not taking the winter coming very seriously. He's unprepared, and therefore, when the winter comes, what happens to him? Tremaine? He was dying. He did not die. He did not die, but he was dying. He was struggling for food. And Chris, you want to top it off?
Well, I noticed in the video, he played a lot of music too.
He did. He played a lot of music
That's
when
what I had
he,
the, thing.
yeah, and when he was supposed to be gathering food, he was playing music. Okay? Now, when he was dying, the ants were kind enough to take him in. They're like, you made a mistake not gathering food, but we're going to take you in because we feel bad for you. Okay? So we need to make sure that we understand what the ants were like and what the grasshopper was like. Okay? So if you haven't already, you need to be filling out this chart. Is the story of the ant and the grasshopper an allegory?
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, it is. Okay.
symbols.
That is correct. The reason it's an allegory is because there's multiple symbols, which we're going to identify in this middle box. That is great. So what we need to do is we need to say the ant and the grasshopper we should be writing this, is an allegory because it has multiple symbols. That is correct. Okay, that is what we're looking for in that first box. That is the expectation. If I ask you that question, I need you to respond in a complete sentence. Okay, thank you to those of you who did. And if you didn't, whether you asked it or you didn't understand, you need to write it now. Okay, now this next box, this is the meat, meaning it's the most important part. We need to identify symbols, and then we need to identify what they can represent in our real world. Lawson, can I ask you first, what is one symbol from this story? Okay, so here's the thing. We know that there's two main characters, right? We have that group of ants, and then we have the grasshopper. So, which one do you want to focus on first? The ant, okay. We know that the main character is typically going to always be a symbol. Okay, that is important to know. So we're going to first identify the ant. Okay, now in the story, the ants were collecting food, right? They were preparing for winter. That's literally what was going on. Okay, Matt, what kind of people in our world could the ants represent?
Farmers.
Say that again?
Farmers.
Okay, how about we just say like people in general? So like people in your life, like what kind of people? If they're people that prepared for winter, they collected food, they did their work. Say that again? Yes, and what about, okay, so that's kind of more literal, right? So literally, the ants were responsible for collecting food, right? And preparing for winter. That's what we saw in the story. Now, in our world, they could represent hardworking people. Think about people in your world that do what they're supposed to, that prepare, that take time to do what they need. So it represents hardworking people. What else, Jalen? Yes, someone who is prepared. I like that. Someone who is on time. So far, we could say that an ant in our real world could represent hardworking people. Someone who is prepared. Someone who is here and ready to go on time. Is there any other people that we
Maybe somebody who always helps out.
Okay. You're right. Someone who helps others, because the ant ended up helping the grasshopper. I like that. Okay? So we're not describing the ant. We shouldn't say they represent people who gather food. Right? Because that's literally what happens. But it symbolizes people in our world that work hard, that prepare, that are on time, who help others. Shayla?
Yeah, I put something along like helping others. I put like we trying to keep other living things alive.
Yes, I like that. I like that a lot. Someone who is willing to help others or keep others alive. Very nice. Christian.
I call them responsible for doing that. Like,
Ooh, say that one more time.
responsible.
Yes, that's a great answer. Okay? Someone who is responsible. You guys need to add that word. That is a perfect example. Someone who's responsible. I like that a lot. Add that to our information about the ants. You can be filling out this chart. Okay, so our main symbol, our big symbol right there is the ant. Okay, if the ant is a big symbol, who else is probably going to be a big symbol? The grasshopper. Tremaine, you got it. You got it. We're going to talk about the ant, now we have to talk about the grasshopper. Okay, what kind of people could the grasshopper represent? Christian?
People that slack off.
People that slack off.
Slackers.
Yes.
Slackers.
Slackers, for sure. Represents slackers. I like that. That's the truth. Slackers. What else? Say that again. But is it good? He is happy, but is he really supposed to? Probably not. So he's kind of slacking off, right? Defiant. Choosing not to do what he's supposed to, right? Okay.
Dancing. So on.
All right, so we have a slacker, we have someone who is defiant.
Person that thinks
Shaylin?
he knows it all.
Someone who seemed like they didn't wanna take care of them or themselves.
Okay, I like that.
Did I say dancing?
Someone who is unconcerned with taking care of themselves. I like that. I like that a lot. Chris, anything else? Ooh, and that plays around too much. I like that. Someone who is playful. Wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a chance. Make sure you have this written, okay? I know we're kind of going quick, so make sure you have a chance to write those things down. Those are all great ideas up on the board. Do you have one last thing, Christian?
Irresponsible.
Irresponsible.
Yeah,
So just the
irresponsible.
opposite of this, right?
Yeah.
For sure, these are opposites. Someone who is irresponsible. Okay, get those things written. Those are all great.
When we have one more character in here, because there was like other
The
people.
queen. Yeah, the
Ooh,
queen.
we can talk about the
Because she noticed the grasshopper was like irresponsible too.
Okay. Now, in real life, who could the queen represent? Hmm? Say that again? The mother, what'd you say?
Me.
Trey, I'm gonna go with what you said, the mother. Okay? The queen is the one who kind of kept everyone in line. Now, is she literally their mother?
Yeah.
No, she's literally their queen. But in our world, we could pretend that we are the ants and she's like the mother. Absolutely, I like that. So I'm gonna have it up here. The queen could represent a mother. Okay, that's a really good example as well. Feel free to add that to your list of symbols.
I just put the girl last week. I meant to put
The queen,
Yeah.
that's okay, I would know what you mean. What'd you say?
keeper.
Do you have this written? Add the queen. Here's some great responses. Good job. Thanks for doing your work on Friday. Appreciate it. All right, we've talked about the symbols. The last part of our chart, probably the most important part. What lessons could be taken away for people who read this story? What could be learned, Tremaine? Okay, help others. I like that. And we can see that because the ants chose to help the grasshopper. Help others. Wonderful. What is another lesson, Christian?
Prepare for the worst case scenario.
Love it. Prepare for the worst.
Or the unexpected.
Ooh, I like that. Can I change it? Can I say unexpected?
Yeah.
Prepare for the unexpected. Absolutely. This story teaches us that we need to plan ahead. We need to prepare. Chris?
Always ask for help.
Yes, ask for help.
And be a good friend.
Like that. Yep, help others, be a good friend. Ask for help is a good one, right? The grasshopper, he asked for help. That was good. Trey?
Always listen to what you go.
Yeah. Listen and do what you're told. Good. Matt? Do you have another one?
Hold on a second.
Write fast. My handwriting is getting sloppy. Sorry.
So is mine.
Glad you could understand.
Don't put off what you can do today, or
Don't put off what you can do today, right? Like, do now. Don't procrastinate. That's what it's about, right? So don't put off what you can do today. Wonderful. Any others? I can go higher. Shayla.
Pay attention to the world around you.
Yeah, pay attention to the world around you. I like that too. Chris?
Don't judge others.
Don't judge. Who's being judged?
The ant and grasshopper.
Who's judging who?
Well, the grasshopper mostly judges the ant.
Okay, because they were doing the right thing, right? I like that. So don't judge others for doing the right thing. Tremaine?
Treat other people how you want to be treated.
There we go, with the ants, right? They treated them nice. Excellent. All right, does everyone have something in every column?
See.
Thank you. What I need you to do now, I don't want you to put it away, but I need you to put it off to the side. What we are going to do, the last thing of class, is we are going to learn what the claim formula is going to look like for outcome 2. Okay, so when I say from here on out, Chris, Jermaine, when I say from here on out, hey, I need you to write a claim for this story, you're going to know exactly what I mean when I give you this sheet of paper, okay?
I have.
Okay, perfect, no problem. Okay, so I would keep out the ant and the grasshopper, because we're going to refer back to it in a little bit. But right now, we are going to use this claim formula. Chris, you want to support? Stick with me, this is going to be the last thing, okay? Thank you, Chris. All right, if you see this claim formula, I'm telling you right here, right now, you can use it on your test, okay? Because this is going to be a notes sheet. So at the top, you may want to write notes. So you know for the future that this is just going to be a piece of notes that you can use on your assessment if you hold on to it. Okay? The little thing at the front that says notes. You are going to copy exactly what I write into the exact lines that I write them in. Okay, so this is just going to be a copying thing. Here's the deal. I've given you a bunch of blanks. Each of those blanks needs something specific on them in order for it to make sense. Okay? When we write a claim, it's always going to be the first sentence of a paragraph. Always. It's never going to be the second, it's never going to be the last. It's always going to be the first sentence of our paragraph. And this is the way that we need to set it up. When we write a claim for outcome 2, we are proving that whatever story or movie or video we watched is an allegory. That's what we're proving. Trey?
So, since it says because the symbols of the blank, would it be like the title of the movie or the story?
We're going to get there. The title is going to go in there, but I'm going to show you where it goes in just a second. So, here's the deal. What I want you to do is just follow and fill in. Because the symbol of, in the first blank, we're always going to write symbol number 1. The first symbol that we identify in a chart, we are going to plug into that box. You may want to write this. These are notes. So you just need to write symbol number 1. Make yours look like mine. These are notes. Okay? These are notes, and then we'll do one example, and then we're good. Okay, you guys are doing well. We still have plenty of time to get this done so we can watch our movie tomorrow. Okay, because the symbol of, in this line, that's where we plug in symbol number 1. The next blank, this is where we're going to plug in what symbol number 1 represents. Okay? Make sure you're writing this down. The second blank says what symbol number 1 represents. You need to be filling this out. If you choose not to do the work, your work habits goes down. Okay, and I will be updating those today.